Welcome to another DragonLance Saga Order of Aesthetics news episode. It is Bakukal Fierce Wealth the 10th. My name is Adam, and today I'm sifting through the Icona Chronos, and I ran across a bit of exciting news. Before we get into it, I would like to take a moment and thank the DL Saga members and YouTube Patreon patrons and invite you to consider becoming a member or patron. You can even grab Dragonlance Media or get $10 signing up to start playing dot games. All right, so we're going to be talking about War Wizard. That's right. There's a little blurb that's been released about it. I'm going to read that here live. We're going to talk about the D&D Tower at Gen Con 2026. And then, of course, everything you need to know about Arcana Unleashed, the new D&D 5.5 book and adventure and package and stuff. So we're going to get all that. Before we do, I do want to talk to you about Patreon membership and YouTube membership. What is it? What do you get from it? If you do sign up for membership, you get weekly readings and monthly downloads, VTT game downloads, and weekly readings of Dragonlance source books or novels or, individual short stories or whatever. There's a Discord section on my Discord for subscribers and members only. There's discounts on merchandise that you can pick up from my website. Patrons get 2 free tabletop role-playing game sessions per month with me. So if I'm running a game and you want to play in that game, I give you 2 free sessions a month. In some cases, that's the full month. Of course, also, the Dragonlance Anthology is out. Dragons of Ash and Twilight, as you see right here. You can come here just by visiting dlsaga.com and click the download free anthology button, which lets you pick up the PDF, the ebook, or the audiobook for completely free, all gratis. And if you do get it, please consider leaving us a review here. All right, that's enough of self-promotion stuff. Let's dive into this. Chris, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. You feel lucky the original creators are still creating new stories 40 plus years later, even if they aren't as good as the original creations. Wow. We haven't even read it yet. Maybe it's amazing. We're no longer new George Lucas, Star Wars stories, or Tolkien, Lord of the Rings stories, so you appreciate 2026 that you get to read a new Weiss Hickman Dragonlance story. That's fair, and I agree. I like that there's new books. So, I'm still reading the original books, so it's not like I'm chomping at the bit, but I am glad that they're here. All right, so here we go. Return to Dungeons & Dragons' most legendary setting with this exclusive first look at the new Dragonlance novel. Of course, this is over at Polygon. Huma and Magius reunite in Dragonlance prequel novel. Read an excerpt here. I will. All right, Dungeons & Dragons has always been an excellent way of bringing people together. For authors Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, the tabletop role-playing game inspired them to create their own setting of Dragonlance, which ultimately evolved into game modules and later into the best-selling literary saga. That's not an exactly accurate way of portraying it, but we'll go with it. The first novel, Dragons of Twilight, debuted in 1984, introducing readers and players to the fantasy world of Krynn. With more than 30 novels to their name that have captivated and inspired readers, Weiss and Hickman have picked up the pen once more to create Dragonlance War Wizard. Published by Random House Worlds, the first novel in a brand new fantasy trilogy. It is set to release on August 4th, 2026. I've already got my audiobook pre-ordered, so I will be doing a spoiler-free review that night. But I haven't pre-ordered the hardcover yet. I'm going to, but I'm going to see if it drops before we get to it, because it's already discounted now. I just want to see if it's going to get discounted more. One thing I did notice about this cover, there is no reference to the trilogy. Like in the Destiny's trilogy, it's like the name of the book, Destiny's Trilogy, Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. This just says a Dungeons & Dragons novel. No reference to the trilogy that it's a part of. Nothing. I think that's kind of weird. All right. While Weiss and Hickman have penned plenty of epics over the years, War Wizard is a return to one of Dragonlance's iconic origin stories. One that we've never explored before, by the way. The early lives and friendship of future legendary heroes Huma Dragonbane and Magius. Amid the growing threat of dragons, orcs, magic, and war, War Wizard beckons both old and new fans to discover what made Dragonlance so special in the first place. The novel is coming at a time when interest in the classic setting is surging again. Recently, Weiss and Hickman have resumed their collaboration with Wizards of the Coast, where they will be working on one or more undisclosed Dragonlance projects, along with actor, dungeon master, and superfan Joe Manganiello. Now, this we still have not heard anything from. We do know, and I'm going to be getting to this in a second, that Tracy Hickman is going to be at the Dungeons & Dragons Tower in Gen Con this year, so maybe we're going to get some news. Hopefully, fingers crossed. In this exclusive excerpt from Dragonlance War Wizard, we see how Huma, Magus, and Greta deal with an attack by a group of ogres while also glimpsing their early bonds with one another. Read below to find out more. Here we go. The hours dragged on, and the wait grew tedious. Perhaps I misunderstood them, Magus fretted. Maybe the ogres have no intention of attacking us. This alarm and upset will all be for nothing. Vantus will claim that this proves I'm a liar. Speaking of Vantus, he is carrying the ogre dagger, said Huma. I saw him thrust it into his belt as we were leaving camp. He didn't try to hide it, but grinned at me, as though daring me to call him out of it. Maybe an ogre will kill him, said Greta. I said a prayer to Kiri Jolith. That is, an ogre would kill Vantus? Huma asked, shocked. No, of course not, said Greta. I wouldn't waste the god's time. I prayed to Kiri Jolith to keep us safe, or, if he couldn't do that, to let us all die nobly and courageously. Thank you, said Huma. I think. Greta laughed, then reached out to take her brother and Magus each by the hand. Do you remember when we were little? We said we'd ride to battle together. I remember, said Huma. As do I, said Magus. Here we are, the three of us, said Greta, and I wouldn't be anywhere else in the whole wide world. The night was breathless and impenetrably dark. Clouds blotted out the light of stars and moons, and suddenly a sound like boulders crashing down the mountainside ended their waiting. The ogres attacked, thundering down on them like an avalanche. Finally, said Greta. Ready? Huma asked. I'm ready, said Magus. Greta? I'm ready, she answered, her voice shaking with nervousness and suppressed excitement. Stay behind me, Magus cautioned. The three stealthily rose to their feet. Huma and Greta had drawn their sword and were waiting for Magus to cast his first spell. He hesitated. It seemed that he had been preparing all his life for this moment. He had defied the Knights' Council, defied the High Clerist. He had been willing to stake his life, take the test, for the sake of the magic. Greta nudged him. What are you waiting for? Magus called on Lunitari. As he spoke her name, the goddess seemed to sweep beside the clouds and shine down on him. Shirak! Magus cried and pointed at a boulder resting at the edge of an outcropping of rock. The boulder blazed with dazzling light, as if the stone had caught fire. They could see the ogres, armed with heavy clubs and spears, charging down the hill. The sudden and unexpected blaze threw the ogres into confusion, to judge by the grunts and exclamations. They hesitated, but only momentarily, as they realized that now they could see their victims. The ogres rushed at them. Richard and the others had been waiting for the signal. As they sprang into action the moment they saw the bright light, Magus heard the horses' shrill whinnies and the clash of arms. He could not take the time to see what was happening to his comrades, for he had to concentrate on his spellcasting. Greta and Huma stayed near him, weapons drawn. The ogres were coming closer. Magus readied his second spell and drew out a piece of rabbit fur, pierced with 3 silver pins. He held the rabbit fur in one hand and raised the other, shouting the words to the spell. Sylar Q Monavoik Sho Jobius Loinon! Blue lightning arced from his hand and struck one ogre in the chest, then branched out to blast 2 more. Thunder cracked! The 3 ogres crashed to the ground, their limbs writhing and jerking. The ogres plunged down the mountain behind them, saw a dreadful fate of their comrades, and tried to skid to a halt. Their momentum carried them forward, and they tumbled over the bodies of the fallen. Huma and Greta attacked before the ogres had a chance to regain their feet. Magus scrambled to get out of the way and took refuge in the shadow of a pine tree. Casting 2 magic spells had weakened him. He needed to recover his strength and prepare another spell. Huma and Greta dispatched their foes and ran to join Magius. "Are there more coming?" Magius asked. "Not that we could see," said Huma. "My guess is that they went to join their friends attacking the camp." They could hear the sound of fighting coming from that direction, but the trees blocked their view, and they could not see what was going on. "Is your spell ready?" Greta asked. Magius nodded, and they ran back toward the camp, clambering over rocks and stumbling through the brush to reach their friends. When they arrived, Huma called a halt and restrained Greta, who could have blindly charged into the midst of battle. They crouched in the shadows to take stock of the situation. Oh, man, I want to read more. No, I dig it. I dig this little vignette. So we've got a relationship between Greta, which is Huma's sister, and Magius. And of course, Huma is a close friend of Magius's. This seems like they've clearly worked together. They're clearly friends at this point. You feel like it's like that buddy cop duo between the three of them. The way that she holds both of their hands is like the bridge of friendship. She clearly seems to be, they're going to develop into romantic attachment, her and Magius. And of course, bringing Huma along is a bit of a third wheel here. But then, of course, it's a combat encounter. So we know that there's another group somewhere else that they go to at the end of this. They're separate and away, sort of like a vanguard or trying to focus the attention of like an offshoot group or a scouting party of these ogres or something. Very cool to see the light spell. Very cool to see lightning bolt. I wonder what that third spell was going to be. Did we say it? So is your spell ready? And that was it. And then they went to go check the other room. So I don't know what that third spell was supposed to be. I like Greta. She seems cool. She seems to be a bit of a fighter because it was her and Huma who dispatched the ogres that had fumbled and tripped over their companions on the ground, which was a very awesome maneuver. I'm just imagining like rolling natural 1 for the ogres' attack, and they're like trying to stop as they're skidding down the mountain. Very cool imagery. I'm stoked. I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be good. I do not think it is going to have any grand implications of anything. All this is going to be is an isolated story about Magius. And because of that, it's going to have Huma and Greta in it. But I think the hyper-focused narrative is going to be on Magius and him coming to experience what it means to be a wizard and war wizard and how he defied the Orders of High Sorcery and the High Clerics and stuff like that. It will be very interesting of a novel, I think, and I'm very much looking forward to it. All right, let's see. The cover art of this book is already an improvement over the Destinies trilogy. Where's Greta? We see the ogres, and this looks like to be just another henchman guy. Where's his sword? Is it in his other hand? How come we don't see any part of it? I don't know. It's okay, I guess. He looks a little Fabio-like, and Huma looks a lot like Sturm. A little too much like Sturm to me, but that's just minor complaints. Polygon already messed it up when they said orcs. Yeah. I saw Margaret Weiss post about it. Clearly, they're talking about ogres. Joe Manganiello is dealing with an autoimmune right now to accord to what he said. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, that sucks. Thanks for tuning in, Ancient Joe. Let's see. You're going to Gen Con in a few weeks? Really? Can you try to get him to do an interview? This is the #1 Dragonlance YouTube channel in the world. Good for publicity for the book. I would agree. I've reached out many times and never heard anything back. So maybe off the record, you could find out why. You do love Magius and Huma's relationship as is described here and in the Destinies. It's one aspect you think is even better than Nack's version. Yeah, but again, we're seeing Nack's version is so far after, like they went their separate ways in life. Magius went through a whole lot in the time before he came back and reconnected with Huma. But once they're back together, it does seem like that buddy cop vibe, especially with Kaz the Minotaur taking the place of Greta in this particular short excerpt, where they're all just sort of bouncing off of each other's behavior and thoughts and going on this grand adventure together. So I definitely get why Knack presented it initially the way he did, but it turned out, I think, in the same vein as this, in my opinion, anyway. There's a Dragonlance seminar at Gen Con. Supposedly, Margaret Weiss teased a big announcement. You're going to record it and send it to me. Oh, that would be amazing. I will put it up. 100%. Anything you send me, I'll put it up. You love how May just used the staff. Seems like Raceland wasn't getting the full use out of it. I mean, all he did was cast, like, light. I don't know that he really did anything with it. But, you know, I guess we'll find out. Wouldn't it be funny if there was a button on the staff of mages that Raceland never found? Yeah. It's like, oh, I just have to twist it and pull. Ah! I wish you would have told me that. So what do you guys think? Was this a nice little excerpt in your opinion? Did this get you any more excited about War Wizard? Or were you already just sort of at peak interest? Or conversely, are you going to sort of skip it? Do you not care at all? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. All right. Next up, we've already mentioned it, Dungeons & Dragons Tower Gen Con 2026. This is a landing page about Gen Con, and it's a big deal because it's really the first time they're coming and pulling out all the stops again, like they used to. So this year, Dungeons & Dragons is pulling out all the stops for Gen Con 2026, welcome to the D&D Tower at the Indiana Repertory Theater, 6 D&D-ified floors packed with live shows, short adventures, music, and experiences from July 30th to August 2nd. Reserve your spot. So, Dungeons & Dragons Tower events. Thursday, join live at the D&D Tower for the Vision Keynote 2027, hosted by Baldur's Gate 3's Theo Solomon. We'll unveil the future of Dungeons & Dragons with roadmap reveals, first looks, special guests, and surprises that will define what comes next for the game. You can read the reactions later, or you can be in the room when it happens. Be there when the future of Dungeons & Dragons is revealed live at Gen Con or stream it on the D&D YouTube channel. Nice. Saturday, Dungeon Master Live Play. Come roll with us live. See Dungeon Masters take the stage for an unforgettable night of official Dungeons & Dragons storytelling. Watch Jasmine Bueller, I hope I said that right, guide the Dungeon Masters party through an epic journey packed with thrills, chills, chaos, and surprises. All proceeds from this event will go toward the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network, so fans can enjoy the adventure while supporting a great cause. And then we have Dungeon Masters, the music of David Arkenstone. David Arkenstone joins us for a special live concert event that showcases the power of immersive D&D storytelling through music. Join the 5 times Grammy-nominated composer as he and his live orchestra, oh, that's going to be dope, perform the Dungeon Masters soundtrack, created to bring Dungeons & Dragons adventures to life at the table. This music captures the scale, wonder, and drama of the game in a whole new way. All proceeds from this concert will be donated to the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network. That is what I love that. Anytime you're doing a big event that can possibly bring in a whole bunch of money, how about having it go to a nonprofit that you care about instead? Like, yes, we live in a capitalist world and money makes the world go round and it can get you out of legal issues if you have money, and if you don't have money, then you're going to go to prison. And it sort of runs this country in the way I perceive it, a kind of a negative way. But when people actually take that and then redirect it to nonprofits that don't get enough support, that support things that you genuinely care about, that's great. That's awesome. I think more people should be doing this. And it's a huge tax write-off for you corporations, so stop being greedy. All right, last but not least in this day here, Dungeons & Dragons, the 20-Sided Tavern. The global phenomenon that is Dungeons & Dragons is now live on stage in an experience that Nerdist calls, quote, rip-roaring fun and truly a wonder to behold. Join us for an interactive fantasy adventure where you choose your heroes, battle monsters, and help 3 adventurers on an epic quest to save the world. A blend of theater, gaming, and one-of-a-kind storytelling, this show is for you, whether you're curious about D&D, a diehard gamer, or a lover of adventure. No matter what quest you conquer, this experience will never be the same twice. Time Out New York gives it 4 stars. It features William Champion, Jasmine Malave, Connor Marks, Madeline Murphy, Cassidy Sledge, and Alex Stompley. Have no idea who any of these people mentioned are. All right. At the main stage, of course, we've got the live play. We've got the music we already mentioned, and we got the 20-sided tavern. But we also have the puppy roll, a possum adventure. Paws will roll as the Puppy Roll returns to Gen Con with an all-star cast led by Puppy Roll creator and doggy master Anjali Biamani. This live event brings pets, play, and chaos to the stage for a great cause. These all-stars will be playing as their pets to raise funds and awareness for animal welfare and rescue efforts through Petco Love. Attendees will also have the chance to donate for exclusive prizes and experiences on Tiltify. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, special events. D&D Carnival. The Dungeons & Dragons Carnival is a choose-your-own-adventure experience where every challenge is inspired by a Dungeons & Dragons skill check. Explore interactive games inspired by the 6 core ability scores. Put your talents to the test and see how fate guides your journey through immersive Taroka readings. Showcase your skills, embrace the unexpected, and create a memorable experience through the carnival. That sounds fun. Also, Dungeon Dare, a web of the Red Wizards, descend into the Underdark and get caught in the twisted machinations of the Red Wizards. This short play experience drops your party into a fight for survival, where danger is guaranteed, but so are the rewards. Inspired by the upcoming Deadfall adventure and the new season of Dungeon Masters, Dungeon Dare gives players everything they need to jump right in, including pre-built level 3 characters. Okay. And then the drone show. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's the Dungeons & Dragons drone show. On Saturday night, gather your party and look to the skies. Watch the night come alive inspired by the world's monsters and adventures of Dungeons & Dragons. They better do a flying dragon. The show begins at 10 p.m. Cool. And then, of course, we have the D&D Talks. First up is Lessons from the Dungeon, Making the World Your Own. Join Luke Gygax and Justice Ramin Arman for stories from adventures written by Gary Gygax and other early stewards of D&D. Okay. I've never understood this. I get tipping your hat to the person who helped create Dungeons & Dragons, but people deify Gary Gygax, and I do not understand that. He created a game. Yes, it's a game we enjoy, but he's just a dude who created a game. Like, simmer down a little bit with, his first words were, or the very first adventure he ever ran, or I shook his hand and so you should shake mine, or you should play a game with me because I played a game with him. Like, give me a break. He's just a dude. And you guys are acting as if he's some sort of, like, angel or something. Ugh. They look back to the ideas and philosophies that shaped these classics and their modern counterparts, share memories from around the table, and talk about how players, dungeon masters, and aspiring game designers can continue to make their own. All right, not interested. 5 practices for compelling storytelling at your gaming table. What makes a tabletop game stick with you long after the campaign ends? Join actor and actual play veteran Anjali Bhimani and D&D creator and professional game master Jenny D as they share 5 practical storytelling techniques that help transform good games into unforgettable ones. Drawing on their combined experience across acting, professional GMing, actual play, and years of teaching tabletop skills, they'll explore simple, actionable practices that both game masters and players can use to build richer, more memorable collaborative stories, whether you're brand new to role-playing or a longtime veteran. You'll leave with tools you can bring to your very next game. Not really interested. Behind the scenes. What happens when 2 veteran dungeon masters talk shop? Join Matthew Mercer and Jasmine Bular for a honest conversation about the joys and challenges of life behind the screen. From Dungeon Master Burnout and Forever Dungeon Master Syndrome to running games for fellow dungeon masters and what keeps the magic alive. That sounds kind of interesting. Character backstory is your key to boundless adventure. The backstory you create for your character isn't just what came before the campaign. It's a foundation that can build role-playing opportunities and create meaningful ways to engage everyone at the table. Learn how to set your next character up for success with writer-director veterans Mayan Barron, and Jim Zub. All right. And then we have Setting a Story, Making D&D Worlds Your Own. D&D's principal game designers, Wes Schneider and James Wyatt, discuss how to choose or build campaign settings that supports the stories you want to tell. Then we have The Hero's Journey, a guide to character realization. Join Deborah Wild and Neil Newborn as they discuss and break down their own creative processes for creating show-stopping characters for Dungeons & Dragons campaign. Learn tips on how to fully embody your character and live out your most heroic adventures. And then we have Snoring on the Shoulders of Giants, The Future of Fantasy. Laura Hickman, Tracy Hickman, and R.A. Salvatore, pioneers of fantasy world building, explore the creative process from both philosophical and practical perspectives. They'll discuss where fantasy has been, where it is today, and where it's headed as technology and new creative tools continue to reshape the landscape. That might be interesting. How to be a D&D game designer. Aimed at aspiring and up-and-coming game designers alike, this panel shares advice, best practices, and stories from members of the D&D game design team about breaking into the industry and becoming a real-life wizard. That's cool, I guess. Elevate your gameplay, how to make every turn memorable. Great role-playing isn't about stealing the spotlight, it's about serving the story. Learn how to create memorable moments at the table through strong character choices, active listening, collaboration, and embracing the opportunities your DM and fellow players give you. Discover how understanding what your character is, what drives them, and how they relate to others can transform every decision into meaningful storytelling. The star of the table isn't any one player, it's the story you're telling together. Hear, hear. And then last but not least, Dungeon Master University Sessions. Learn the art of running your own D&D campaign at Dungeon Master University, a special experience designed to help new and aspiring Dungeon Masters take their first steps. These sessions will introduce the basics and give attendants practical tools for guiding players through unforgettable adventures. Whether you're preparing to run your first game or looking to build more confidence at the table, Dungeon Master University helps you sharpen your skills every great Dungeon Master needs. Parasocial relationships are a hell of a drug. Nothing is worse than name-dropping fans saying, I played with fa-fa-fa. You're better than some DragonLance fans are not immune to this behavior. Oh, for sure. You are 100% right. But look, because I'm not a star effer, that does not mean I look down on people who are star effers. I just don't care. It doesn't interest me at all. And so it's not a flex for someone to say, I've met X, or I've played with Y, or I've done Z. Okay, that's awesome. Do you poop? So do I. Hey, we got something in common. That's as much as it means to me. All right, we've got some actual plays as well. Curse of Christophus. You missed the party. All right, I'm just going to sort of skip through some of these. We got the Curse of Christophus. We got Faster Purple Worm Kill. You've got Grim Upon the Edge of Nope. Bones of the Empire. Blackwater D&D. Where's DL Saga? Story Quest presents Where's DL Saga? And then we've got the stream, of course, that you can tune in from home if you're not going there. And then, of course, merch all weekend long. There's going to be stuff for you to spend your hard-earned cash on. Yeah. All right. So you can see 6 floors. Floor 1 and 2 are the merch, talent signings, check-in, D&D keynote, 20-sided tavern, Dungeon Master's concert, Dungeon Master actual play live show. Floor 3 is the Dungeon Dare Web of Red Wizards. Floor 4 is the D&D actual play amphitheater D&D talks. Floor 5 is the Dungeon Master University on Friday and Saturday. Become the master. Floor 6, the D&D Carnival, a 2-day event where every challenge is a skill check. And then, of course, it reiterates the different special guests that are going to be appearing. I didn't see Margaret Weiss anywhere, but I do see Laura and Tracy Hickman right there. Their website is kind of slow. Come on, web developers. Get that hamster running. Jeez. I know it's not me because I have fiber optics, so. Come on now. All right. Anyway, I'm just going to skip down to the bottom. And then, of course, we have directions. So if you thought this was going to be at Gen Con, you would be wrong. It is actually a block away from Gen Con. But still, that's not far. So, are you guys going to Gen Con? Did any of the different events that I had noted sound really interesting to you? Are you going to attend any of them? And are you looking forward to one over the others? Let me know in the comments. I've never been to Gen Con. It has been something I've always been interested in doing. I've just never really done it. So let me know your experiences and if it is something that you're going to be doing. And I'd love to hear any after the fact. Maybe we can do a D&D hangout where we just have people come in that went to Gen Con and talk about their experience. That'd be kind of fun. All right. Last but not least, Weiss is signing the booth all weekend. Oh, nice. Okay. And then that 1 hour DragonLance seminar. I didn't see any mention of the DragonLance seminar, so hopefully it's still a thing. Let's see, everything you need to know about Arcana Unleashed and Arcana Unleashed Deadfall. Are you ready to take the magic to the next level? Releasing September 15th, Arcana Unleashed is a gameplay expansion that hands players and DMs the tools to build high magic worlds and characters. Then, you can put your magic to the ultimate test with Arcana Unleashed Deadfall, a high-level, high-stakes adventure that drops characters into the fractured magocracy of Thay to stop the Lich Sass Tam. Ooh, I could re-skin that as Fist and Danilus Reborn and have this set in Krynn. Of course, you can pre-order it all here. So let's discover what the Codex has to offer here. Gathering and presented by Alistrel Silverhand, a human daughter of... Okay, 8 subclasses steeped in the arcane. So we've got... draw power from the Dying God as a Vestige Patron Warlock, lance every blow with magic as a Warrior of the Mystic Arts Monk, or weave spells into your shots as an Arcane Archer Fighter. Rounding out the roster are the Arcane Domain Cleric and 4 Wizard subclasses that specialize in particular schools of magic: Conjurer, Enchanter, Necromancer, and Transmuter. 9 factions and a society run on magic. Arcana Unleashed introduces 9 arcane factions, each with its own leadership, renowned rewards, bastion facilities, member benefits, and rivalries. Chart the multiverse with this conjuration-focused Horizon Weavers, trade in secrets with the enchantment-focused Bejeweled Conclave, dissect death alongside the necromancy-focused Covenant of the Grave, or steal dangerous knowledge with the shadowy Ninth Quill. The book also adds 10 backgrounds, most of which are tied to a faction, so you can shape your character's story by embroiling them in the rivalries and alliances of arcane politics. Evolving magic items, that sounds interesting, and 45 plus arcane treasures. With over 45 magic items included in the vault of this tome, your campaign will be brimming with rare and legendary arcane treasure, including new evolving magic items. These powerful relics grow in step with their wielder, unlocking new powers as their bond deepens. If they don't put the Staff of Magius in there, it will be a crime. That seems like the perfect magic item to evolve over time. A bestiary of living creatures, living magic, featuring 19 magical creatures from mysterious allies to lethal foes. Your campaign will never be lacking for magical fiends and foes, friends and foes. Face archmages specialized in every school of magic, spell-warped darkened beasts, living spells, and the immortal CR17 mage, Venger. Expand your spellbook with 33 spells and 20 plus feats. Every arcane hero needs new tricks. Arcana Unleashed teaches you how to tap into the weave with 33 new revised spells, more than half of which are level 5 or above. Will you silence your foes with the dread wail of the Banshee, harden your body into living metal with Iron Body, or capture souls with a Spirit Lantern? You can also customize your character with more than 20 feats spanning the origin, fighting style, general, and epic boon categories. Together, they let you harness magic for spellcasts, sell Slinging Warrior, deepen your connection to your magical familiar, or chase pure arcane firepower. Begin with Tomb of the Shadow Serpents. With the immortal mage Venger tempts your party with forbidden power buried in a dangerous crypt, few adventurers can resist the pull, and fewer still walk out alive. To pull all your magic miscellany into play right away, Arcana Unleashed contains Tomb of the Shadow Serpents, a level 1 adventure built as a 1 to 2 session jump-off point. That sounds fun! I like that. I'd play that. I'd run it. Build your arcane arsenal. Arcana Unleashed Deadfall. Put everything you've mastered into the ultimate test in Arcana Unleashed Deadfall, a magical spy thriller for high-level play. Deep in the Forgotten Realms, the tyrannical lich Sass Tam of Thay is poised to unleash a demonic undead horde upon the world. Dun, dun, dun. So level 11 to 20th adventure. Wow. That's cool. Arcana Unleashed map pack. So the Ultimate Bundle gives you the Arcana Unleashed, the gameplay expansion, Deadfall Adventure, and the map pack. For a paltry $130. Jeez. It's getting too expensive to play this damn game. Just as a side note, you could make all this stuff up yourself. Just saying. Just putting it out there. All right, let me know. Arcana Unleashed. It sounds kind of interesting, and certainly the adventures sound kind of cool to me. Is that something that you're looking for? Do you chomp at the bit every time there's a new 5.5 supplement that comes out? They have released the sort of play for this, the releases of this year. So this is the second one that's going to be coming. So it is kind of interesting. They have a whole one about becoming, super powerful villains. And of course, the Horror of Ravenloft was just released. We had that in the first quarter. Now the second quarter is dealing with, or actually this is the third quarter. The second quarter was Ravenloft. This third quarter is going to be Arcana Unleashed. I wonder what the fourth quarter is going to be. I know they already mentioned it somewhere, but I just don't remember. Yeah, let me know if this is something you're looking forward to and you're going to be playing yourself. And if you would play that first level intro adventure that Venger sends you on, I think that'd be a lot of fun to run. All right. Love to hear what you guys have to say, but that is going to do it for this Order of Aesthetics news episode. Have you pre-ordered Dragonlance War Wizard? Are you stopping at the Dungeons and Dragons Tower at this Gen Con? And finally, are you looking forward to Arcana Unleashed? Feel free to email me at info@dlsaga.com or leave a comment below. I would like to take a moment and remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, ring the bell to get notified about upcoming videos, and click the like button. It goes to help other Dragonlance fans learn about this channel and its content. And this channel is all about celebrating the wonderful world of the Dragonlance Saga, even if no one else seems to be doing it. That's okay, we are. Thank you so much for joining that celebration. Thank you for watching as well. My name is Adam with Dragonlance Saga, and until next time, Slanjavar.